Welcome to another episode of the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. And as we do on Fridays, we bring in our financial philosopher, that'd be Phillip Washington Jr. We are continuing our series called Mind Over Money, Rewiring Your Financial Attitude. This will be episode number 10. Real mindset attitudes people may have for not being able to change their thoughts about money. I'm too comfortable in my financial habits. I'm too focused on immediate gratification. Stick around. Here we go. Should we just jump right into it?
Let's do it.
All right. Here is a real mindset attitude. I'm too comfortable in my financial habits to change.
You know what? I'm actually going to give a different perspective than I gave in my podcast that is that hits this point, right? So,
all right, do it.
The current world that we're in, there's a lot of conflict happening between countries, between people, between everyone, and the thought behind the minds that are engaging in conflict is this, right? I'm too comfortable in my financial habits, right? Meaning like you have countries that are used to things going a certain way, and instead of changing their habits and gaining a different perspective, they want to like resist change, which leads to conflict on both sides. And that's literally like when my clients are asking me about, war and markets and impacts and what's going on behind the scenes, I tell them, it's funny. I'll tell them I don't really listen to the news because I'm pretty confident they're lying. Lying's a bad word, but like they're giving me their perspective, which is not going to be the full truth. How about that? But I'm always able. It's weird though. I'm able to say, but here's the logic of their thinking, and this is likely what's happening behind the scenes. And then some article will come out that says what I told them without having the details. And I'm like, right, because like once you understand the logic of how the mind works, and like based on like your frequency and your emotional state, you're going to act a certain way. So the people who are too comfortable to change their habits, they're thinking from a limited, lax standpoint. And so people that have a lax standpoint are going to act a certain way. And that's what these countries are. They're like, oh, there's limited resources and we got to fight on it for them. That's not how it works. That's how you think it works because the economy that the people who run the world built in their mind, it's dying, and they haven't updated their perspective to the new world and said, no, like there's all these great new ideas in the new generation. And if we just spend money to implement these old ideas that we're fighting over that are dying, they're going to die anyway, right? I mean, there's no fight that needs to be necessary if we would just like invest in the new ideas, right? But that happens, war happens, right? The new ideas end up winning. And that'll play out, but it doesn't have to be this way. But it's a function of this statement right here. I'm too comfortable.
It reminds me of trying to do things by yourself as opposed to working together as a team.
100%. 1 + 1 always equals more than 2.
Next one. I'm too confused on immediate gratification to think long term. Now, this reminds me of this is why people subscribe to Netflix. Because they want something, I want it now. I want to watch X-Men right now. That's instant gratification, as opposed to, oh, it's on TV, but it's a week away. Yeah,
and you know what? And I actually, I'm a fan of more and more immediate gratification. I mean, that's progress. That's innovation, right? We learn to communicate faster. We learn to travel faster. We learn to move money around faster. That's what crypto is. We learn to do everything faster and quicker and more immediate. And so that's the spirit of progress. I think the spirit of the statement is, this is the weird part about like thinking about innovation. Like, there are people who try to be innovative without feeling innovative. Like, meaning like, once you own the state of an open mind where you can accept the flow of ideas and thoughts without resisting and restricting them and allow them to just flow at you without resisting them, then you pick up on innovation quick. You become a conduit for inspiration, for bringing new ideas and new inspirational ideas into the world. But if you don't own that feeling and you're looking out and you're trying to discover it through intellect right? Then you become like, you miss stuff late, and then you have to posture and manipulate to try to, get ahead, right? So like immediate gratification is what the world is about, but the way to get immediate gratification is to like feel the way that you want to feel. Let me say it a different way. Some people want to feel good about their finances, and so they go buy a car that makes them feel rich.
Right.
Right. And there's no problem with that if you do it in the budget. There's no problem with it if you do it out the budget, right? You just got to deal with the pain of like, the not having a sound budget. But what I'm saying is, if you own the feeling, if you just feel wealthy no matter what, you feel rich no matter what, then the urge to buy the car that puts you out of a budget, that's out of your budget, goes away, because you're like, I don't need that to feel that way. Like I feel that way, right? And so I think that's what I'm trying to say is like feel the feeling, and then you're gonna flow everything from that into your life the way it should be, in proper order.
Feel it.
Feel it.
The next one, real mindset attitudes, again, people may have for not being able to change their thoughts about money. I don't want to face the reality of my financial situation. This, to me, means dire straits. But I don't know.
Yeah, yep, you're right. It can mean dire straits. It can mean something that's just mild in the background that you're not aware of. But I think ultimately it's the biggest reason people may not see a wealth manager or a CPA or a financial advisor or a financial planner, or the reason why people get jealous and upset at somebody who is they have the financial expression that they want, and they're doing it in a way that they never thought possible. Like, for example, people get really upset at people who make a lot of money and make it easily, right? Because
Sure.
because their mental limitation is it's hard to make money, but when you actually get into it, it's actually not, right? When people think about the money they've made in life, it's struggle, and then release resistance, and you get the money. The struggle didn't have to be part of the equation, right? It was because it's part of our learning process, right? We got to have the pain to allow us to relax and release and give in, but that's not how it has to be. And so there's some people that learn it and go, oh, I can just kind of float through life and enjoy money, and it coming to me, and it comes easily, and you feel lucky, and that annoys the shit out of people because they're like, oh, that's just not fair. I'm saying it to say, when you are forced to face your limitations, right? That's what reality means. A reality is more like a dream you created that you're living inside of. It's a limitation, a self-imposed limitation, right? And when I say it that way, it makes sense. But since so many people judge other people's limitations, us as humans, right? I mean, literally, the word judgment means to see a reality, to see a limitation, right? And so, because we judge limitations, it doesn't feel good to look at our own limitations without judging it, because that's what we judge. But if you just move into a thought of, I just don't judge other people's limitations. I don't judge my limitations. I don't judge other people's limitations. That's just the natural part of like how you live life. Like once you get to that point, then you become more like a molder of reality, right? Think of like if I see those comic book things where you have like this God that's shaping reality, and like with
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like without judgment, like you become that because you go, oh, here's my life. I'm looking at it neutral. Oh, when I'm in this situation, I like to argue. When I'm in this situation, I like to do this. No judgment. I don't prefer to argue. Okay, let me just think about feeling the way I want to feel in this situation, so it diffuses the argument, right? And that's I think meditation helps with that. Other things that help relax your mind, but when you can get to a place to where you become more self-aware, when you can look at your limitations and then choose to feel how you want to feel about them without shame, guilt, or whatever, like that's mental freedom. And I think that's the energy behind that statement.
We're going to squeeze in one more. We're going to call this a bonus mindset attitude. I don't believe in the power of positive thinking or mindset shifts.
Yeah, so this is a good one. This is I think the best way to answer this is weird because belief, the mechanism behind belief is weird. So like belief is gonna give you reason related to the belief. So people think reason is how you create things. No, reason is just like the reason given by belief, right? So like if you believe in a bias, then the algorithm of the world will keep feeding you that bias, right? Like if you just hate angry drivers in the morning on the way to work, you're going to keep running into angry drivers because like that's the reason that follows your belief. And so the people that don't believe in the power of positive thinking, there's nothing I can say to change that.
Well, that's like you buy a new car and all of a sudden you start seeing those same cars on the road. Mm-hmm. And you go, wow, I've never noticed that those cars, whatever make and model you're driving, are now all over the place.
Mm-hmm. And I think, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say when I bought my car last year that all of a sudden, oh my gosh, this car is all over town.
Yeah,
yeah. I've never noticed it before.
Yeah, and the law of mind is one where the purpose of pain, like when we touch a stove and it's hot, is to say, I don't prefer that. I don't prefer to do that. So the purpose of pain, of mental, psychic pain, is to say, I don't prefer to think this direction, right? When you think a thought and it feels bad, that's the law of mind saying, just don't think in that direction. Think the opposite, think positive, right? And so like I'm saying, the best cure for not believing in positive thinking is keep thinking negative thinking. That's and right. Then at some point, the pain is going to get too hard for you to bear, and you're going to find some source of positive thinking that relieves the pain, and then you'll become a believer.
That's Phillip Washington Jr. He's good. He's good. Hey, have you ever thought about doing a live event?
Yes, thank you for prompting this. We have one coming up November 14th. You can get the details on my Instagram profile, Ask Phillip, or my Phillip Washington Jr. LinkedIn page or Facebook pages in my links. But it's really about this. We're going to have a yoga meditation practice, and then we're going to go into mental practices of how to reshape your thoughts and how you feel about your thoughts around money. Like, and I like it's literally what I use to help open up my mind more and more. And I feel like it's going to be a really good event. I'm getting some good feedback on it. Yoga and money. Yes. How to stretch the dollar. Oh, I like that. I wish I would have thought of that before we created the event. How to stretch the dollar. Well, I'm the marketing guy. We do this every Friday. Phillip, have a great weekend. Let's do it again next week. You too, Steve. Thanks. We appreciate you listening to the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. By the way, if you own a business and you are interested in being a part of the Consumer Advice Series, if you have the knowledge to give information in 10-minute increments to the consumers, shoot me an email to info@aboutmansfield.com. Again, that is info@aboutmansfield.com. We'll tell you how we can get you all set up. Appreciate it. We do it again next week right here on the podcast.